What type of feed do you feed them?
I feed my dogs Purina dog chow because we've tried different dog foods through the years, and it seems like when you start hunting them really hard, you got to have a dog food they'll hold up, because a lot of those other dog foods would just seem like the more you fed them, the thinner they get and the weaker they get, you know. And then when you're hunting them hard, you got to have something that will really stay with them, you know, and give them a lot of energy. And then a lot of times when we're hunting hard, we'll take a little bit of like Mazola corn oil and sprinkle a teaspoon of that over it. Those dogs need fat for energy, you know, and you feed them these high protein dog foods, and that's not good for those older dogs because it's too hard on their kidneys.
How about medication? You do all your own medication?
Yeah, we give all of our own shots, our 7-way distemper, all that stuff, and then we give our rabies shots and all of that too.
Yeah.
And our own worming program and stuff.
On pups, on starting pups, how do you like to start them, and what age, and what do you like to do?
Well, we start letting those pups go with us is when they're about, I'd say 3 or 4 months old. As soon as they're big enough to travel, we let them follow us around the house here, and then, you know, take them with us when we go horseback when it's not going to be too far for them. But that's the main thing, is starting those pups and getting those pups to mind. And if, you know, my dad always claimed if you teach those pups to mind and get them to where you can call them to you and teach them what come here means, that you've eliminated a lot of your problems before you ever get started hunting with them. And I think that's one of the keys, because if you don't do much with them and then you just take them out, well, they're just going to go wild and run everything and do all kinds of things they don't need to be doing and pick up all kinds of bad habits.
You almost have to have total control over them at all times.
You got to have control over them. If you don't, they're off doing something you don't want them to do, and you just, you know, they got to mind you and respect you, but they also got to like you too, you know. And I like a friendly dog that, you know, that minds good. And usually the dogs that are real disciplined and mind good are friendly type dogs, you know. They're not afraid of you or anything like that.
You never used training sense then, do you?
I've never used any of that kind of stuff. We've always just taken them hunting, you know, with the old dogs and get them to trailing. And once you get them to trailing and treeing, well, they'll go on. We've never used any of that other kind of stuff, though.
Yeah. How about the shocking collars? You use those?
We've used shocking collars, you know. When they first came out with those, we got a set of those Tritronics, and I think they're a good deal because it's a little better than you can kind of got control over them when they get out there, because when a dog takes off after a deer in this country up here, they're pretty hard to stop, you know. And if you haven't got a shocking collar on them or something, you know, they're just, and you spend a lot of your time trying to run your pups down, and your horses give out and everything else, you know, you just can't. And then like Dale told me, he said after they came out with those collars and he started using them, he could train 6 dogs where he used to could train 2 the same amount of time, you know, because you just got more control over them than you used to have. We used to try to neck them together a lot, but when we had a lot of dogs, you know, we necked a lot of the young dogs together to keep them with us and stuff. But I really like the shocking collars. Especially these new ones where they got a variable on them where you can turn it up and you can either just bump them a little bit or you can turn it way up and really shock one, or you can kind of, you know, if one's just out there and he won't pay any attention to you, you can kind of just bump him a little bit without having to really shock him.
Depends on how mad you are.
Well, and that's got a lot to do with it. And it's kind of comical anymore, because when a dog gets after a deer or runs something he's not supposed to run, instead of getting so dang mad and trying to run catch him, you can sit over there and punch the button, and it's kind of different deal. It's a lot easier on you too.
Yeah, I can see that.